Hello, Capricorn. This is your reading for the end of October 2025. Your opening energy is capable. It says you can deal successfully with whatever challenges and circumstances arise. Look at that beautiful card. This is from the Creativity Oracle deck. Capability. You can deal with whatever challenges and circumstances arrive in your life. I like it. We're going to do the Dove and Serpent spread. We're going to start with the Thoth Tarot for the path of the Serpent. We have a Tower. We have Seven of Cups. We have a Queen of Swords, Princess of Pentacles, Nine of Wands, and a Five of Swords. All right. For the path of the Serpent, we're going to use the Rider-Waite-Smith. We have a Knight of Cups. We have a Queen of Swords, another Queen of Swords. We have a 3, look at that, 3 of Cups, and we've got a 5 of Swords again. So doubling up on the Queen of Swords and the 5 of Swords. So it seems to be that there is maybe some confusion or some doubt or some kind of mistrust that is taking place in your life right now that needs to be looked at objectively. So it may be that there's something, you're not quite seeing all the facts of it yet. That we need to take a step back and look at it. And so, maybe there is a little bit of some kind of discord with somebody. We feel like maybe there's some friction somewhere. Okay. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown, and we're going to set this down right over here with Bubo, the mechanical owl, right there on top, and, we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need. At the end of the reading, if you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Let's take a look around the room. We see a Tower is our major arcana card. We have fire. We have some water cards, we've got some air cards for sure, and we have a little bit of earth energy. So the Tower here, I think the Tower is really requiring that we're honest right now, that we face the truth, and perhaps this is an occasion for some of you, if this is your situation, to rebuild some trust. Okay, maybe there has been, something in your relationship with a family, a friend, coworker, a lover, where we feel that trust maybe was broken, or that there's something that we are feeling was a betrayal or some dishonesty somewhere. Okay, this is also a card that's saying we need to be very accepting of change. Okay, there are things that are happening outside of our circumstances or outside of our influence. Circumstances that are kind of happening in our direction, we can't really change, we can't prevent, we can't stop them, we're not responsible for them, but still we need to deal with those. So we could look at some of these things that are happening in the world as opportunities, fresh starts for us, opportunities to really act bravely. Okay. For some of you, this is going to be related to a release of stress. Find ways to sort of bring the intensity down. Go take a walk outside. Go take some deep breaths, okay? We might want to kind of renew our intentions even at this time. Write down on a piece of paper, I'm rebuilding stronger, okay? This is a time for perhaps clearing away one old thing and starting one new thing, okay? We realize that it is through change that we learn. We've got to continue to stand upright and deal with whatever this is that's happening. Because again, this is kind of like a surprise. This is the universe giving us something that we didn't ask for. We didn't know it was coming. We had no way really to prepare. And we certainly can't prevent it or say, oh, no, thank you. You're walking in, and it could be a very pleasant surprise even. Okay? It could be something that ultimately is going to be very good for you, but you don't really like surprises. This is a card to me that's saying, like, we would rather this not happen. But I think we're going to see that there is a blessing in disguise here. I feel like something's being liberated. Okay, I feel that there's something. There is a blessing that's coming through this sudden change of circumstances. Okay. Anyway, there is also this 7 of Cups that we're feeling. 7 of Cups is sometimes recognizing an illusion, recognizing that maybe there have been promises made that haven't been kept. Okay. So for some of you, this could be the feeling that we're sort of stuck somewhere, that we're sort of something is stagnated or something is not making the progress that it really should. Again, this is kind of like a card that is asking that we be honest, that we tell the truth, and we expect that the other person in our life, if this is romantic for some of you, or related to a friend or a family member or something like that, it is, we can only do our part by being honest, by telling the truth, and by not writing any checks that our butt can't cash, not making any false promises. For some of you, this is the advice to sort of pick one thing and finish it and ignore the distractions. Okay. This is a general reading, so this is some general advice for us, Capricorn, that's saying don't overeat, drink water instead of anything else, go to bed on time, right? Nothing in excess. Take care of yourself. Okay. Pay attention to what your physical needs are. Yeah. And I think for our manifestation work, I think we should we should focus on what our dream is. We should write it down. And we should sort of, we should hone in on what that is and take some actions toward it. Okay. And also in kind of a spiritual sense, let's tap into the intuition a little bit too. Let's ask our soul to kind of tell us the truth. Let's ask Spirit to show us the truth, And we close our eyes and we listen. What is your heart telling you right now? Okay. This is a card sometimes of, feeling like there are some red flags somewhere. So there might be a need to sort of clear the air or get something brought out into the open, to be very, very honest with intentions, very honest with our plans or our wishes or our hopes and dreams, And that kind of relates us to our Queen of Swords under the surface. This is a card of speaking kindly but firmly, okay? Might be a good time to set some boundaries, but stay compassionate, okay? Don't isolate yourself. Be a team player. Work together to solve a problem, and be very clear with what we're expressing. Okay, be very kind to yourself. Make some tea, sit quietly, and just focus on our breath. Okay, act with clarity right now, and try to invoke more wisdom into our lives. Maybe we can. Read some inspiring pages. We can meditate quietly. We can focus on that inner stillness that I think is going to allow us to move forward into whatever this period of time is bringing our way. Yeah. Let's go back here to our Princess of Pentacles. Okay. This is a very productive card. I think a lot of harvest. I think something in your life is ready to bear fruit. Okay. We're planting a seed, and I think we're watching it grow, and we're paying attention to it. We're being very practical. Okay. I think in a lot of ways this is us, kind of helping out in life. Maybe we're taking care of somebody else. Maybe we're showing a lot of patience, and we're showing kindness toward people. We're sharing. Okay. This is having a plan and working steadily on that plan, knowing what the steps are and being ready to take that first step. Okay. The recommendation here is also to sort of rest. To make sure, again, there's this theme, I think, making sure we're taking care of ourselves enough. Making sure we're getting good food and lots of water and a lot of rest and a lot of love, okay? It's kind of, trusting that the seeds that we're planting are growing the way they're supposed to. Yeah, and I think it's with the nurturing and the showing kindness and showing patience, I think that has to be directed toward ourselves. If you're in a relationship, it's also being that for the other person. Yeah, I think there's a lot of there's a lot of growth and a lot of strengthening of the relationship. For some of you, this is going to be mostly about an interpersonal relationship, a close family member, friend, or a lover, right? And I think that we're still being very attentive and we're still being very nurturing toward the people in our lives, and I think you're still nurturing, yourself. And I think that I wonder if Spirit's trying to prepare you for something quite significant in your life. But let's keep going. We have a Nine of Wands to talk about as well, and the Nine of Wands is a card of strength. Yeah, it's a card of resolve. It's a card of feeling connected with our sense of purpose. Yeah, it's a card of, kind of suggests boundaries as well. Being strong in our commitments and our convictions, standing strong. And maybe, saying no. And the things that we're not going to allow into our life. Okay? In terms of your work or money, this is keep going. Right? Stay focused on your project, stay alert, and be ready for that sudden change. And that sudden change could be a breakthrough. It could be something. It's a surprise, right? This is kind of like as ready as you could be for a surprise. Not knowing what it is, just being kind of planting your feet on the ground and being strong. Okay? You're being advised to balance your work life with, sleep and stretching and taking breaks and making sure you keep your vitality up. Okay, this is also somebody who is very, very firm in their convictions. I feel like this is if you're a person of faith, if you have a spiritual practice, strengthen that. Hold on to that tightly and continue to push forward toward your goals right now. Guard your spirit. Guard your energy. Trust in your own strength as well. Okay, this is a card of backbone. It's a card of standing tall and firm and being ready for whatever life is going to send our way. Yeah. Let's keep going here. We've got a Five of Swords, and that's kind of, that's a repeat card. We've got two of those. And I feel like that is like, it's taking a time out from an argument. It's like if you are encountering any kind of friction or resistance, this is the card that's saying, walk away from the argument and take a deep breath and say, let's talk about it later. Okay? Don't get immediately brought into any sort of entanglements because it feels like the energy, you're not going to say what you mean. You're not going to be able to communicate exactly the way you want to right now. So if there is any kind of, now not for all of you, I hope, but for some of you, if there is any kind of a conflict or a debate or a discussion or an argument, pause it, hit the timeout button, and come back to it later after you've had a chance to calm down. For some of you, this is going to be in the workplace. There's going to be a lesson to be learned. Something that you will have attempted may not work out exactly right. A little small loss. Learn the lesson, try it again the next day. Generally in life, if you're feeling stressed, that's when you stop, that's when you breathe through it, you stretch, and you return to it at another time. You got to be able to listen to your body and listen, you got to read the room a little bit, Okay? You're releasing any of the animosity or resentment, and you're going to come back and you're going to start fresh again like the next day, right? Come back to it tomorrow. and and address the issue, or attempt it again, try again, or apply what you've learned in a new way. Okay? Now, moving over to the path of the serpent, and we're going to talk about this Knight of Cups. This is a good card for love. Okay? So for those of you that are interested in love and romance, or you're in a relationship, right now is the time to like do the good, the affectionate things, like write the love poem, you know, sing the song, and express yourself affectionately. Express the way you feel to your partner. Okay? Smile, and you know, this card's all about the exchange of love and affection. Yeah, so it's a very good time for that. And it may really be that those kinds of gestures are going to go a lot further than the words, you know. Communicate, you know, with your own love language kind of thing. In the workplace, this is sharing ideas. This is even bringing some sense of aesthetics into the workplace, so decorate your desk and make work a little bit more fun. Okay, this is a good time for you to draw, paint, dance, and again, kind of, you know, focus on deep breathing. I think that's going to be a really big thing for you toward the end of October. Okay, at this time, I feel like something in you needs to stretch. You know, like you breathe, do the deep breathing, you feel your chest stretch, your back, and you feel your whole body, your rib cage and everything expands, and that stretching feels like it really is going to bring about a much deeper feeling of relaxation and well-being for you. Okay, it's a good time to work on creating something. Yeah. I think it's a good time for you to also be open to receiving love and affection. Open to receiving the blessings and the good things in life. All right. Queen of Swords, moving on. Queen of Swords, to me, it's kind of like, you know, it's a repeat card again. And I feel like it's kind of being emphasized that we need to set those boundaries and we need to be firm, but we don't want to be argumentative. We want to stand tall and firm, but we don't want to be drawn into any kind of drama or entanglement, because I feel like we're not going to be able to express ourselves clearly. Okay, and this is that card of like calming down, sitting quietly, breathing, and moving forward with clarity. And so it may be that we just need to sort of, you know, it's kind of like there's a problem, and instead of just jumping right in, kind of impulsively or reacting to something, it's like you're going off on your own, and you're going to meditate, or you're going to sit quietly, or you're going to read some, you know, spiritual books or some things, and you're going to kind of like, you're going to center yourself. You're going to find that inner guidance, and like you're gonna, I don't know, I kind of feel like you're praying for wisdom, to know how to come back to something and approach it with that kind of clarity and that kind of like compassion and thoughtfulness even. Yeah. And I think there is something rather significant going on in a relationship of yours, whether it's family, friends, or if it's a kind of a romantic partner. And you're going to want to take the kind of time out, you know, before you maybe rush to a judgment, or before you get embroiled in any kind of debate or argument and that sort of thing. But you got a Three of Cups too, so I feel like the good stuff is coming for you. And this is, you know, this is celebrating with friends. This is you laughing. This is you, you know, sharing food and drink with the people that you really care about. I feel like this is a celebration. Okay? I feel like that whatever the problems and the difficulties are at first are going to give way to you celebrating a win. Okay? If this is at work or at home or at school, there is going to be a lot of celebration. There is going to be a win. Okay? This is also kind of like you sharing a meal with people and really like having fun after this, what seems like a not fun start. It's going to end in fun. This is going to be like joy is here. Okay? You're going to put some music on and you're going to be very thankful. And I think this is This is the joy. And, whatever the problem, whatever the issue is, I feel like it's not as serious as we think it's going to be. And if we step away and we get calm, we have a cup of tea, whatever we do to relax, do some deep breathing and, a little om, I think we're going to come back to it and we're going to be compassionate and calm. And that's how we're going to approach the problem and solve it in a way that everybody's in love again. And everybody is celebrating and everybody feels good and it turns into a win. Okay? And that's what we're after all. You do have the Five of Swords again, though. And it's this emphasis. I feel like Spirit's kind of repeating the message. Walk away from the argument. Take a deep breath and say, let's talk about it later. Okay? Learn the lesson. Don't argue. Come back the next day and try again. You're feeling stressed. You're feeling like you're not going to say what you mean, or you're going to say something that's maybe a little bit mean, right? Walk away and take a breath and stretch your shoulders, stretch. I feel like there's tension in your rib cage and tension in your lungs and your back, and we just need those really big inhales and the slow exhales, yeah? And I think that, you're kind of meditating on this and you're releasing all that tension. You're releasing the frustration or the conflict, the resentment, the mistrust, or just the anger even. You're letting it go. And you're coming back later or tomorrow with a new blank slate, a clean page, and kind of a refresh energy, and with a peacefulness inside of you that is allowing you to, to come back like, I don't know, I almost feel like you're coming back with a little bit of humility, but with really, with strength, with inner strength. That it's not reactionary and it's not speaking out of frustration or anything like that. You're able to choose your words, and that Queen of Swords really is peaceful and calm and compassionate, but also not putting up with any nonsense, Well, let's look at our mystery card. See what is the perhaps additional advice coming from Spirit or your true self or your guides. I think I like this capable card. I mean, this really fits in, right? That you're capable of dealing successfully with whatever challenges arise. Feels like a Tower moment. You're handling it beautifully, perfectly, to the point where there is joy and celebration, and there is a feast and a harvest that's coming afterwards. So I'd say that's pretty successful. You're pretty capable of dealing with whatever this problem is, So what do we think the mystery card's going to be? Well, I don't know. It could be the Empress. It could be some pentacles. I'd say we need a little bit more of that. Okay. So let's see what we have. The Ten of Swords. Okay, we could deal with this. This might be, accepting an ending. Saying goodbye, This could be that we're sort of, we're closing the file on something and we're beginning fresh again afterwards. Okay. This is, realizing that what we tried to do here maybe didn't really work. And so we have to kind of scrap it and we have to start again. Some of you are going to be looking at this situation and thinking, this was a mess, that this maybe they're false promises, maybe this is just something that that you can't get over and just kind of smooth it over and make it okay. So for some of you, this is going to be like, well, you know what? It's gonna have to be an ending, and that's okay. Because the ending means that tomorrow I get to start fresh. Whether this is in love and romance, or if this is your particular project or enterprise that you're involved with. Okay? The Ten of Swords is generally an ending. Okay? And it's generally like we're sort of, I don't know, it's like we're not okay with it, but we understand that it's necessary. So I think for a lot of you, whatever this is, it does seem as if a lot of you are just going to kind of walk away from it and say, and well, we have 5 plus 5, right? So we kind of are having that 10. And I think the message there is clear. That if you are able to encounter this issue one time and deal with it, and it turns into a celebration, then perfect, wonderful. 10 of Swords doesn't apply. But if you find that it happens again, and again, and again, and again, and again, there's only so many times that you can walk away and have a cup of tea. Eventually, you have to say, bye. So I don't feel that this is saying, oh, this is a tower thing, your relationship's ending, it's over, and you just got to be okay with it. No, I don't think it's saying that. I think it's saying you have to decide if this is like happening too often. If you keep coming back to the same issues at work or at school or at home or with your lover or your friend, if it's the same argument over and over and over again, something's got to change. But if you can step away, have your tea, and come back and resolve it and get that 3 of Cups celebration, get that celebration, then all good in the hood, right? But like I said, if the 5, because the repeating cards, that's the meaning of the repeating cards. The reason we have a 5 and a 5, the reason we have the Queen and the Queen again. Because if despite your efforts, this same thing keeps happening, at some point in your life, Capricorn, you're going to have to say, enough is enough, I'm leaving, goodbye. And allow new energy to come in later. But if this is just kind of one incident and you're able to resolve it, then everything is aces, everything's great. Okay? So I hope that's clear. It's not saying that this is definitely over. What's saying is that you've got to put an end to whatever this issue is. And that's either by stepping away, coming back, and resolving it. Great. Or you're putting an end to this by saying, this is a fundamental disharmony, and I've got to go in a different direction. But it's your choice, okay? I think that's really important that we understand why this 10 of Swords is here. So any questions, let me know. Actually, why don't you click on through to the extended reading? There's a join button right down there, okay? We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. We'll clarify money and love. And we'll do the yes/no coin. Okay? Cancer, I thank you. I love you. And I'll see you there.